Today, I would like to give a presentation about Xiaomi. Xiaomi is a privately owned Chinese electronic company established in 2010. It provides low-cost but high-quality mobile phone and a wide group of consumer electronics. Instead, it has doing business in Asia and going to further expand in the. Actually, what operation challenges they are facing? First is the just-in-time model, as they cannot develop a production schedule based on the online pre-reservation because of the shipment of time. They have to keep the inventory, and then the trade-off will be a higher price. In the intense competition in the global market, Xiaomi may not able to capture the huge success as what they have captured in China. The challenge will be the inventory storage. After the first release of the recent Xiaomi mobile phone, it's soon out of stock. It's not because of the hunger marketing. Instead, it's really out of stock because of the shortage in the component of its mobile phone. Because one of their suppliers cannot fulfill their order of chips. It leaves Xiaomi sell less 7 million of the mobile phone, which means that Xiaomi only can fulfill 13% of their market needs. So, how they solve this problem? They used to do the globalization strategy. First one will be the aggregation strategy in the economics perspective. They're going to develop their market into the emerging market. The people there is looking for the affordable price and the well-designed mobile phone, which exactly what Xiaomi provides. Also, Xiaomi can copy its homegrown strategy to do the promotion and the production. Those markets have a very large population size, as you can see here. Therefore, it creates a huge demand for Xiaomi. Another globalization strategy they have adopted is the arbitrage in the economics perspective. As I mentioned before, they are facing a shortage of the smartphone component. Therefore, they start doing the phone assembly locally in India and outsource the electronic accessories in other countries, solve the shortage in the component and further lower the cost of the manufacturing.
Today I'm giving a presentation about Nokia. And here's a table of content. Nokia was a Finnish technology company founded in 1865. It was originally founded as a pulp mill. Nokia was well known for its low cost and top mobile phone. And Nokia lost its market due to its slow pace of reformation. And in 2016, the Taiwanese technology company Foxconn Tech has inquired. The challenge I want to talk about is the threat of new incomers. As I mentioned previously, Nokia has gradually loses its market due to a slow pace of reformation in its own company, and it became more obvious after Apple and Samsung has released their smartphones. I still remember a CEO of Nokia once said, "The whole smartphone and its touchscreen things are a joke." But after all those years, the fact talks. Second operational challenge I want to talk about was the product image. People talk about Nokia, they must think of mobile phone. But the strange thing is, in 2014, a new CEO announced that Nokia is no longer producing mobile phones. And at that time, I thought it was a bad idea because of a product image people had for Nokia. And 2 years later, in 2016, Nokia announced that they will start to produce the mobile phones back. That's part I want to talk about in my presentation of the AAA strategy. In 2016, after Foxconn acquires Nokia, they'll bring their whole production line into China, since Foxconn's production line is originally in China too. They'll create the economic of scale by using the aggregation strategy.
Today I'm going to do a presentation about Apple. Apple was formed by Steve Jobs in 1976, and Apple is famous for its iPhone series, which is a revolution product in the history of the smartphone industry. The company focused on differentiation among the whole industry, and it obtained 50% of the market share. Although Apple is already a well-developed company, there are also two main operation challenges. Firstly, the outsourcing. Foxconn, the famous outsourcing company of Apple, is well known by its frequent suicide incidents. The labor cost of China is also increasing, and the negative news of the outsourcing will affect the reputation of Apple. And secondly, the differentiation-focused strategies of iPad and iPod. The sales of iPad and iPod keeps decreasing these years. There are lots of other competitors in China market, and iPad and iPod do not have enough competitive power against them. Firstly, the economic approach of arbitrage. The rapid development of China has led to an increase in its labor price. Apple can change its outsourcing from China to other countries, changing the strategies of certain products. iPad and iPhone have lots of substitute products nowadays, but their quality is lower than the other differentiated focused products such as the Microsoft Surface, and the Apple wants to increase its sales of iPad and iPod. Switching from differentiation to a low would be a good idea, which increase its competitive power in the industry.
Today I'm going to do a presentation about the smartphone industry. Here's the table of content. In 2016, the number of smartphone users were surpassed 2 billion. And since smartphone industry seems to be a consistently profitable industry, so our group is going to discuss about its pros and cons through using past analysis and Porter 5-4. First of all, we're going to do the past analysis, and our target country is India. Since India is the most potential smartphone users growing population country. First past analysis we're focusing on is the political factor, and we separated it into two parts. The first of all is taxation. Everybody knows tax burden will strongly affect the industry market. And second, it's privatization. The local Indian government really strongly supports that foreign companies to direct invest into the country, and with the help of the government, the industry is likely to develop easily. Second past analysis we're focusing on is economical factor, and the first part is the GDP growth. The GDP growth of India has grown steadily in the past few years, and it's a great sign for our industry. And the second part is the exchange rate and inflation rate. The inflation rate of India is relatively low compared with those major countries. So it's a good news, and it'll be very favorable for the industry manufacturers. Third past analysis is the social factors. As we know, the women's right has been emphasized throughout the world, and women in India could now gradually work equally with men, so they could bring a huge labor force and probably decrease the labor cost. And the second part is the aging population of India. Aging burden might be a huge problem for India, and it might cause labor burden, financial burden, and decreases the labor force. Last past analysis I want to talk about is a technological factor. First of all, it's the advanced telecommunication technology. The study shows that by 2018, there are 19 million people in India using 4G network, and it's a good sign for the industry. Second, it's a constant IT development. Next will be Porter's 5 forces analysis. First of all, is the threat of new entrants. The threat of new entrants will be low because to enter this industry, you need high capital and a stable market. This analysis is the bargaining power of suppliers. For the software part, the bargaining powers of suppliers are high, and for the hardware part, the bargaining powers of suppliers are low because there are a lot of substitute of raw material that others can choose. Next, I want to talk about is the bargaining power of buyers. The bargaining power of buyers is relatively strong because the nature of the products and the low switching costs and information transparency. The threat of substitute products and services. The threat of substitute products and services is low. Last Porter analysis I want to talk about is intensity of rivalry. First of all is the competition in the market. The competition in the market is quite high because the market is mainly owned by 4 companies, which are Apple, Samsung, Oppo, and Huawei. The second of all is the growth of the industry. The third is the exit barrier, and the exit barrier of the market is quite low. As for the conclusion, we saw there's a lot of opportunities appears in this industry. Although there are a lot of uncertainties, but it still attracts a lot of players.